She was the queen of the deep, more than 40 world records, dives that carried her beyond 100 meters into the crushing silence of the ocean. Natalia Molchanova seemed invincible, a living legend whose mastery of breadth and depth had no equal. But in the summer of 2015, off the calm shores of Ibiza, the unthinkable happened. She slipped beneath the surface for a simple dive and was never seen again. Freediving is one of the most beautiful, yet dangerous, sports on Earth. Unlike scuba diving, freedivers descend into the depths with no tanks, no artificial oxygen, only a single breath of air, and their own mental and physical control. But this beauty has a dark side. At extreme depths, the body faces crushing pressure, oxygen deprivation, disorientation, and sudden blackouts. Even the most experienced athletes are at constant risk. Today, we will remember 6 tragedy stories of world champions and rising talents who pushed the limits and paid the ultimate price. Audrey Mester. Audrey Mester was born in France and quickly rose to fame as one of the most talented freedivers of her generation. She was married to another legendary diver, Francisco Pipin Ferreras, and together they trained for extraordinary depths. By 2002, Audrey already held several world records. That October, she attempted one of the most ambitious dives in history to break the no-limits record by descending to 171 meters off the coast of the Dominican Republic. The plan was simple but dangerous: descend on a weighted sled, then use a pressurized air tank to inflate a lift bag that would bring her back to the surface. Audrey descended flawlessly, reaching the record depth, but when she tried to ascend, the air system malfunctioned. The lift bag did not inflate properly. She was trapped deep below, fighting for survival. Rescue divers rushed down, but the delay was fatal. Audrey was unconscious when brought up and could not be revived. Her death shocked the freediving world, because it wasn't her body or her mind that failed, it was the equipment. She was only 28 years old. Nicholas Mavoli. Nicholas Mavoli was America's brightest freediving star. Born in Florida, he discovered freediving in his 20s and quickly gained recognition for his extraordinary talent. He represented the United States at international competitions, inspiring others with his calm focus and strong performances. In November 2013, at the Vertical Blue competition in the Bahamas, Nicholas attempted to dive to 72 meters in the constant weight without fins discipline. It was a depth he had trained for and believed he could handle. He descended smoothly and resurfaced after his dive. For a brief moment, it looked like he had succeeded. But then, in front of spectators and safety divers, Nicholas collapsed. He had suffered a fatal pulmonary edema, a condition where fluid floods the lungs under extreme pressure. Despite immediate medical care, he could not be saved. He was only 32 years old. Nicholas' death was particularly shocking because it happened during a major international event, witnessed by fellow athletes and fans. His loss was a reminder that even in controlled conditions, with safety divers present, freediving remains unpredictable and deadly. Natalia Molchanova. Natalia Molchanova was more than a champion, she was a legend. Born in Russia, she became the most decorated freediver in history, holding more than 40 world records. Her achievements seemed endless. She could hold her breath for over 9 minutes and dive deeper than anyone thought possible. In depth disciplines, she repeatedly redefined the limits of the sport. She reached 101 meters in constant weight, 127 meters in free immersion, and an astounding 131 meters in variable weight. But beyond the records, Natalia was also a teacher. She trained countless students and helped popularize freediving as a sport and a philosophy of life. On August 2, 2015, Natalia went for a casual recreational dive near Ibiza, Spain. It was supposed to be a simple swim with friends. Outside of competition, she slipped beneath the waves, as she had done thousands of times before, but this time, she never resurfaced. Rescue teams searched for days, but her body was never recovered. The most likely explanation was a strong underwater current that carried her away. Her disappearance devastated the freediving community. To this day, Natalia Molchanova is remembered not only as the greatest freediver of all time, but also as a pioneer who gave the sport its soul. Patrick Muzimu. Patrick Muzimu was a Belgian freediver who became famous for his fearless approach to the sport. Patrick viewed freediving as more than just competition. He was not only an athlete, but also an experimenter testing new methods of training and breath control. In 2005, he stunned the world by descending to an incredible 209 meters, an achievement that pushed the boundaries of what people believed the human body could survive. Few dared to attempt such depths, but Patrick was relentless in challenging the impossible. His dives earned him global recognition, and his name became synonymous with breaking barriers. But Patrick also carried a controversial reputation. He often trained in ways that others considered too risky, preferring solitude and experimentation over strict safety protocols. For him, freediving was as much about self-discovery as it was about setting records. On July 21, 2011, tragedy struck. Patrick was training alone in his swimming pool in Brussels. Without anyone to watch over him, he suffered a blackout underwater and drowned. Patrick drowned not during a 200-meter dive, but in a swimming pool just 2 meters deep. That chilling contrast speaks volumes. A man who had conquered the ocean's abyss lost his life in shallow water. If someone of Patrick's skill and experience could drown while pool training, it becomes painfully clear no diver, no matter how accomplished, is ever truly safe without proper precautions. Patrick's death is a solemn reminder that freediving demands respect at every level, whether at 200 meters or just 2. Stephen Keenan. Stephen Keenan wasn't just another freediver. He was the heart of the freediving community in Dahab, Egypt, an Irish adventurer who had left a conventional life behind. Stephen found his calling in the depths of the Red Sea. He became one of the most respected safety divers in the world, co-founding the Dahab Freedivers School and dedicating his life to helping others push their limits safely. He was charismatic, humble, and deeply passionate about the sport. Many who trained with him said he made them feel safe no matter how deep they went. And in a sport where every second counts and mistakes can be fatal, that kind of trust meant everything. By 2017, Stephen had become well known internationally, especially at one of the most infamous freediving spots in the world, the Blue Hole in Dahab. This vertical sinkhole plunges over 100 meters deep, with a submerged passage known as the Arch, a natural tunnel stretching 26 meters long at around 56 meters depth. It's beautiful but deadly. The Blue Hole has claimed many lives, earning the nickname the Diver's Cemetery. On July 22, 2017, Stephen was safety diving for Alessia Zecchini, a young Italian freediver attempting to conquer the Arch. Alessia was one of the rising stars of the sport, capable of world-class depths. But the Blue Hole was notoriously risky. Their plan was simple: Alessia would dive down, pass through the arch, and Stephen would meet her near the exit to guide her up safely. The dive began smoothly. Alessia descended with grace into the shadow of the arch, her movements precise, her breath steady. Stephen waited in position, ready to escort her out, but as Alessia emerged from the tunnel, she became disoriented, low on oxygen, her mind clouded by narcosis. In that critical moment, Stephen reacted instantly. He swam to her, positioned himself to guide her back to the surface. But the rescue took everything he had. Stephen managed to bring Alessia up, saving her life. Witnesses on the surface saw her break through the waves, gasping for breath. She survived because of him. Stephen, however, didn't make it. Exhausted and oxygen deprived from the rescue, he lost consciousness just meters from the surface. Fellow divers pulled him out of the water, but it was too late. At just 39 years old, Stephen Keenan was gone. His death sent shockwaves through the freediving world. But his legacy is not one of tragedy alone, it's one of sacrifice. Stephen died doing what he loved most, and in his final moments, he chose to save someone else. Today, his name is remembered not only as one of the best safety divers the sport has ever known, but as a symbol of courage, loyalty, and ultimate selflessness. Loch Lafferme. Loch Lafferme was one of the great pioneers of modern freediving. Born in France, he specialized in the no-limits discipline, where divers use weighted sleds to descend and lift bags to ascend. Loch held several world records, including a 171-meter dive in 1999 and a 162-meter official record in 2002. He was admired not only for his talent, but also for his humility and calm nature. Fellow athletes considered him one of the best ambassadors of the sport. On April 11, 2007, Loch was training near Villefranche-sur-Mer, on the French Riviera. He was preparing for another deep attempt, using sled equipment, but something went wrong with the ascent system. The lift failed, and Loch was trapped at depth. By the time rescue divers reached him, it was too late. He was only 36 years old. Loch's death was devastating for the freediving community, as he was not only a record holder but also a mentor and friend to many. His story highlights once again the razor-thin line between triumph and tragedy in the sport. Freediving is a breathtaking journey into the deep, a place where silence, beauty, and danger meet. These 6 divers, Audrey Mester, Nicholas Mavoli, Natalia Molchanova, Patrick Muzimu, Stephen Keenan, and Locke Lafirme, pushed human limits further than anyone thought possible. But the depth is merciless. Even the strongest, the most experienced, and the most legendary are vulnerable. Their stories remind us to respect the sea, to never underestimate the risks, and to always dive with caution. Above all, they remind us that behind every world record, there are human lives, dreams, and sacrifices. May their memories live on, inspiring us to admire the ocean's beauty while never forgetting its power.